Good, how are you?
Day one of shooting, we were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and so excited, and we had been rained out of the hell of it, so it was already plan B, so like that day turned into plan C, D, E, F, like it had already devolved so much from what we had expected. But we were shooting Never Have I Ever, which is such a fun, upbeat scene. It has a little bit of tension with Savannah, but mostly it's just this ensemble, silly moment.
We had this really cool location on the camp there that was like, we called it the broken shoreline. It was rocks that normally are buried or underwater, but the tide was out, and it was just very cool. And I had this whole metaphor I was doing that they're walking across broken pieces, you know, to find each other. And I wanted to really figure out, all right, here's this shot, we're gonna do this, and in this shot she's in the foreground and he's in the background, and that's gonna be interesting because of what they're going through and then what he sings, and we'll rack focus to him.
Thank you God that I'm bruised, thank you God that I'm anxious, thank you God that you never really come to save the day.
And then he'll kind of walk around and we'll do this spin shot here and just design it, pick it apart. And then that lyric that read like you're both stumbling upon it took you to each other.
Day before production starts, like clockwork, tornado warning.
One of our PAs was on set, like I think loading in trailers or something, and they sent us a video of our broken shoreline.
Tide is in. I'm no captain, but I might be a problem.
And it was no longer a shoreline, it was underwater. So we didn't have the location anymore.
Thank you, God, that we are now flooded and cannot shoot this number tomorrow. It really put our lyrics to the test.
The whole set that we had planned for Hell of It was underwater for the rest of filming.
The Hell of It came out of a conversation between me, Alan, and Kaylee before we ever started writing the show, before I was a writer for the show, before I was a songwriter for the show. They wanted as much of me, the real me, in Lenny as possible, and we all got on a Zoom to talk about my experiences and specifically how Lenny was going to show Max the way and how Max was going to show Lenny the way and how they were going to bring out different colors in each other. Max couldn't hope, he was in too much pain, and so Lenny taught him how to thank God for the hell of what he had been through. I mean, for me it was like, show it more. Which is a little hard to work with. To me, what that meant was like, don't let her walls be up, like let him actually penetrate the fortress and actually break in and hurt her. I have such a different experience of that day from Antonio because I knew so much more about what was going on. Yeah. And so fast forwarding to that moment of shooting with Alan, it's like we all got out our anger over what had happened and what a deep heartbreak that is for our friend, like in that one moment. To me, what was interesting is in the way that you felt like he's not happy with it, I've got to do better. I felt like, uh-oh, we're getting somewhere. Like we are doing it right because Alan is feeling the real emotion of it. So I felt very grounded by your reaction and very like, okay, this is very difficult, but we are doing it justice.
And Adam and I, you know, Adam Watts, who I did all the music with on the film and did the music on the show with.
Alan was like, I'm getting songs from Cozy that I think are sneaky good. Like, there's a couple, in fact, that you need to hear. I got sent specifically the song that Cozy wrote, The Hell of It, and I kept forgetting to listen to it. And when I finally did, I'm like, oh, whoa.
What she sent over was amazing. There's so many songs that ended up in the show that were just like the first pass that Cozy did ended up on screen.
The Hell of It.
Thank God for the hell of it, the hell of it, hell of it.
And Made for This.
I know we were made for this.
For both songs that I wrote in that little incubator period.
We just talked about it. I said, man, I think she would elevate everything. She brings a new shot of energy into it. Everything would be better. And so I talked to Adam first and made sure he was okay with it, and he was completely supportive.
The music, Mr. Adam Watts. Take a bow, sir. He's right over there, guys, by the way. I love him so much, I'm telling you. I'm not just saying that because he's sitting there.
I had to really not think about what a legend Adam is, which was hard because every time you had to take a bathroom break and you went in his bathroom, all his platinum records are in his bathroom.
I told him I've lost 8 pounds because of him, because I put on my headphones and I'm supposed to walk 10 minutes after a meal, and I say, okay, I'm gonna be gone for 10 minutes, and I put on music from a week away and I listen to it over and over and over again, and the next thing I know, I've walked all the hills in my neighborhood for an hour and a half. So thank you, Adam.
Oh, Adam Watts. It's just the worst.
I'm Adam Watts. I'm executive music producer, is one way you could call me. They're trying to figure out what my credit should actually be. I like to think of it as if there's multiple ships and Alan is sort of the captain of the main ship or the whole fleet, I'd say I'm the captain of the music ship.
And a couple days later, I sent him a voice memo of my idea saying, hey, here's a song that could be cool for the show. It's called The Hell of It.
Eyes wide and hands unfolded, I stand out in the open and thank God for the hell of it. Thank God for the hell of it.
Alan once again opened the door and said, listen, I believe in your abilities.
I asked Cozy to send me songs because she's a great songwriter, and she was willing to do it. And I was grateful to hear anything that she wanted to send and to pitch. I knew he was talented, but to see it firsthand and to be in the room with him and to be collaborating with him is really an unbelievable thing.
Writing with him was just some of the most fun I've ever had. He's such a smart, kind leader.
You know, it was one of those situations where, like, absolutely meet your heroes. I didn't specifically know that Adam Watts was my hero growing up, but I did know that the music that he wrote really spoke to me and like changed my life growing up. So getting to meet somebody like that, and for him to be like the most chill, awesome, welcoming, open songwriter and musician was such a crazy experience for me.
He also has a gift of pulling out of the artist that he's working with the deepest layer of what you're trying to say. He's able to take all of the craft and all of the stuff that he's and all the talent that he has and bolster what you're trying to do.
Eyes wide and hands unfolded.
For this was the 6th and final song that I pitched him for the show, and he called me and said, I just paused in the middle of the song because I couldn't wait anymore to call you and tell you I officially want to invite you to be part of every aspect of production.
I know we were made for this, to jump and fly and fall and then to lift each other up again.
I mean, I don't know what the music would be if she wasn't at the table across the board, but I know that the music's great, and that's in large part because she was at the table across the board. So
Another thing that's really cool about overall creating the music is that everybody really brought their A game, but also came from a really personal place. It ended up at this place where it's like greater than the sum of its parts, which is really what you want.
Every time we would finish a song, we were just like, wow, we're doing something really special. We're doing something that's like really meaningful and means something to a lot of people. And like a lot of the people that were working on this show grew up with High School Musical, Camp Rock. And like we are just sitting there like, what did we just live out our Camp Rock dreams? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did, and that was freaking cool. So that was a lot of this experience, was just surreal, speechless moments.
And we all were like crying, telling him, Antonio, this is the best thing we've ever heard. You're so amazing. We're so excited.
After doing the table read and listening to it after the scene that we had just done.
How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
I realized to myself, I said, it just doesn't feel emotional enough. It doesn't feel like I'm going there. It feels like I'm singing the song, and I don't want to do that.
And I don't remember if it was the next day or 2 days later, but Antonio came in and he's like, it was late in the day too. He's like, I want to re-sing Amazing Grace. You want to make a perfect thing, what? Better? Worse? Like, how is it possible?
That is such a guttural, emotional moment for him, where he is literally like, God, where are you at? Like where you were there for someone else, why were you never there for me? Do you hear me?
And Adam and I mean, he's become one of my closest friends now, but if you roll the clock back, we set off on the journey to start making the music for a week away the film, and it was unbelievable, man. Just, you know, sometimes it would just be, hey, I need a song like this. The guys and the girls are talking, you know, to each other, and like this guy's trying to convince this guy that he's good enough to talk to the girl, and this girl's trying to convince this girl that she's good enough to talk to the guy, and it's going to be called Good Enough. And Adam does things like sends you a voice memo with just the chorus, and it's fantastic, and you're like, oh, well, we got the song, now we just got to go fill it out.
I was like, well, it doesn't hurt to just do the thing where I press record a bunch of times and then get to listen to him sing. So I'm like, all right, let's go. If you heard the first one, you'd be like, that's amazing, and there's an awesome singer, and you hear where we ended up, and it's like transcends that and becomes something really special. From then on, if there was a line or a note or a thing that he wanted to redo, it was always like, go, no question.
The idea of singing these songs with him, especially now that the songs meant so much to me, especially one like The Hell of It, which I had written before we even started writing the show and was based on my story and my life. Knowing that he was going to bring it to life with me meant everything. He's so protective of songs. He's so responsible with them. He really makes choices as a vocalist. Nothing is by mistake.
Put him in. That's going in the clip.
That's actually fairly impressive. I did not expect him to be able to do that. Don't tell him I said that.
You know, a lot of times football players can coach and they don't know how to play. These guys can dance their faces off.
They would always kind of go through with their little previses. This is my first time seeing a previs.
The first time I saw previs, I kind of thought, oh my gosh, this is a thing. It's like camera blocking for dancing.
Where they would like have an iPhone and basically just like track the whole performance on the phone so that they could tell the camera guys, this is the shot that's gonna look the best here. This is how this is gonna work. Basically getting a pre-visual to what it's gonna be on the day.
The reason why it's faith affirming for me is that it's a big deal to me to see like, God, man, bad things can happen. And then if you stay steadfast and faithful to what you're doing, do your best and give a 2-word, direction and be there, but then also be there for your wife and like hand it over to a very capable partner, like that it can all work out for the best.
That's why the mystery of it, I think, was really important to me. Like in the scene with Max and Jeremy specifically, because again, having connected to Max and like put myself on that journey. When you're doing that scene with Jeremy on the dock, and you're asking these very relevant, meaningful, important, honest questions, for Jeremy just to go like, dude, I don't know why God didn't help me.
We were so excited. Antonio and I were so ready. We toured the broken shoreline and blocked out the moment with Alan. We were supposed to film The Hell of It day 1 of shooting. It was supposed to be the first thing we did.
First thing, yeah. And we kept, every day kept waiting like, okay, are we gonna make this happen? Are we gonna make Hell of It happen today?
The Hell of It then got pushed to like a month before we were done, then 3 weeks before we were done, then in the last 2 weeks, then the last week. Then it was supposed to be part of the last day, but not the end of the last day.
The set never became available to us again.
And finally it ended up where we are here on the last day.
Actually an extended day. Last day of
It wasn't
filming.
even supposed to be. The last day was supposed to be yesterday.
Yeah.
But we got rained out again. And literally every time some weather delays, something happened to where it was so clear God was moving the chessboard and was like, that's the last thing you guys are going to shoot.
So what was supposed to be the first thing that we shot, we had to shift everything around and do other stuff as you often have to do through production. The Hell of It pre-scene and The Hell of It itself ended up literally being the last thing that we shot on the show. So it went from the first thing we were supposed to do to the last thing we were supposed to do. And I almost get emotional thinking about it because Cozy and Antonio were so locked into their characters, obviously by the end of the show, that I don't know what that scene would have been like if it was the first thing that we shot. They're good actors, so it would have been good. And it may have been just as good, but we'll never know. And now we don't have to know because we had to change the location because it stayed buried. So now we're just in the woods, which is better. We did actually shoot the bridge and the chorus of The Hell of It. It was literally the last thing that we shot. And it was cool because we ended on the dock that, if for anybody who knows the movie, we sang Place in This World on the dock.
One really cool thing, which started out being a little bit annoying, but then ended up being great while Antonio was doing all of his vocals, is the very first song we did that he wanted to do was he wanted to sing Amazing Grace. I think he had connected that song from a character perspective, from a personal perspective, and he just wanted to sing it. Even though it's in the first episode, it's definitely a hero moment, vocally and also for his character. It like sets things in motion. He sang it on the first day, and I was like, oh man, we're off to a good start. Alan came in, listened to it, gave the thumbs up. We were all super stoked.
There's a line in the bridge that you can hear on the soundtrack, but isn't actually in the series, where Lenny and Max trade back and forth singing, "Thank you, God, for my past. Thank you, God, for my future. Thank you, God, that I'm here with you right now."
Thank you, God, for my past.
Thank you, God, for my future. Thank you, God, that I'm here with you right now.
And every time Antonio and I sang that, we almost teared up and would just look at each other and go, like, let's make the most of it. This is it. That's just gonna go down as one of my favorite shooting days of my whole life.
To end it on that was really, really special. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
And I'm going to attempt to, because I wasn't there that day. So like there was this very like kind of zoomed out macro thing that was happening. It's just like this life gives you lemons and God makes lemonade. And then there you are. It's like, oh yeah, day one of this thing I've been working on that is kind of for God's people and to tell this story. And like this bomb drops. God, couldn't you have scheduled that a little better? But the lemonade that was made out of that is how much it informed what we did. And like there's a version of that I don't think is very smart, which is like, no, God's trying to help you make a good movie by putting you through that and having it like, no. Right. There's something else going on that's much more difficult to understand, which is the making lemonade out of all the bad things that happened. Because we wouldn't have free will without the opportunity for things to just go drastically wrong.
And I think it was probably about a quarter of the way through filming that scene that I was starting to feel an energy from Alan where it, at first I thought it was more just because like, he had written this scene, he really does relate to Max and like what is being said is really hitting him right now. And I didn't know why necessarily, but it started to get a little bit more tense and that's okay. I mean, now knowing what was going on, I was just like, oh no, am I doing okay? When he was coming over and kind of giving those shorter notes, I was like, okay, it actually kind of helped me get more there because I was like, oh no, I'm upsetting him now. Like I'm not doing it right. And now I'm like actually upsetting myself. And it pushed me to even get further with it. And I'm actually really grateful for just the energy on set that day. I think it was like so integral for the scene to go.
Do you remember any, like whatever the 2 or 3 word things were?
Alan gave me the song, and I love the song right away. And it's catchy. With that being said, it's a long song. It's almost 4 minutes long. And he said, I want the whole number. And I was like, cool, great, let's do it. And then he said, and I want it as a oner. And I said, okay, all right. And then he said, but not just a oner, a selfie oner.
Oh, she's going to break the fourth wall. We're doing the thing.
They're building a number.
This is now the thing that we're playing to. And I was talking to Paul about that this morning too. Like, ooh,
Did he like that?
Yeah, he was stoked about it because you don't get to design.
Yeah.
Like, you don't pretend the camera's not there. Like, the camera's now a part of your design.
So somebody's holding it or they set it down like the whole time. You don't get to have any of the tricks of like editing because we got different angles or close up. Like, oh, that's not as good. We'll just go to a close up. Like, nope, this is gonna play like it was filmed in one shot.
I can't believe that we get to do this together today.
Yeah.
I think it feels like a really good way to wrap it all up.
We started A Week Away movie on this dock in September of 2019, and we have wrapped A Week Away the series. What's today's date? May the 21st, 2025, on the same dock.
Pretty great. Pretty great. It's a special place.
Thank you, God, for the hell of it, the hell of it. Thank you for everything that feels so hard to bear.
Do you know what God calls an angry prayer?
A prayer.
Everybody's Got a Story is such a cool idea, let alone like the way the song ended up turning out. It's just, we knew what the mission was. That episode is really heavy, so we need some lightness. It was all about like shining a light on those who hadn't had the light shown on them.
It could be you. It could be me.
I wanted to just take a second and give our side characters a moment to shine, and then in doing that, hopefully for the audience, underline this idea that like, you're awesome too. There may not be a camera pointed at you, but you're a main character.
Everybody's got a story. Tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
What was yours?
I believe in my own movie, you know, whatever.
And no one's gonna tell me how to say my lines.
It was really fun to find that, and a really cool challenge also to make space for everybody that could fit in that song. And a lot of the dancers ended up singing, which was super cool. That was awesome, and also ended up being on the last day of recording, which was a half day, and we had the most jam-packed schedule.
That was, for me as an artist, I've never felt this feeling of like, I'm speaking through this thing that we're doing. The reason I think, for me, that episode 6 is so meaningful now is because what happened to me in that moment is I became Max. I do remember the feeling, I don't remember what I would have said, but I do remember the feeling of kind of seeing early takes, like Antonio call it being nice. And I need Max destroying Lenny, because really you're talking to God. It's just kind of through Lenny. And I would really like to talk to God right now through you. And I'm more angry than you're being about this thing. And that's what I'm saying, like I became Max in that moment.
Paul and Ryan are just a dynamic duo. They really know what they're doing. They just kind of get each other, right? Like Paul has these brilliant ideas, and then Ryan just knows how to make it come true.
What a gift they have. The way that they speak to the dancers, I just know like on one of the final numbers, we're outside, we're losing light, and Ryan is there. We literally got seconds away, and he's like, I want this group to do this. He's in a microphone. I want the group 2, you come in, you're doing Camp Crush, you're doing like, I Feel It in the Air, and then group 2, you're gonna come to the front. And then he lets them loose, and they all do it. It's magical. It's unbelievable. He's so gifted. Both of them are so talented.
You know, Ryan is only 23. He turned 23 on the show.
He's so young, and they know how to do that skill as well. It's not like they just coach.
I like to create a previs so we know what we're getting into, so we know the story works, so we know all the beats work, so we know the choreography works on camera. And we're able to pre-shoot the previs, edit it together, and then like analyze it, look at it, dissect it, chisel away at it like a sculpture.
And then I thought, of course, how are they going to get all these nuances of all of these shots in this song that has so many different stories going on at the same time? You have to do a previs.
And it also allows us to be economical in our shooting, and also with our rehearsals, we're not having to teach the entire number to the cast. We just teach them those sections. So if we know it's not going to be shot, we're not teaching it.
And I was blown away. Honestly, that previs is when I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be so good.
But what always would happen is he'd push and do a few more, and it would somehow get better. And then when he felt like he nailed it, he'd go, we did it, boys. It was always, we did it. And I'm like, no, it was a you. But he would make it a we, because like, that's Antonio. He doesn't want it to be about him. This is a we thing at all times, even if it is him. It says so much about who he is, how he genuinely thinks.
After that moment, we were very particular with how we wanted to go about bringing the emotions out of the songs.
And what I love about it is our dancers are so talented.
Best dancers in the world, like winning so you think you can dance type dancers we got on this show. Shout out Bailey.
And in some of these musical numbers, they're kind of working around the fact that, for instance, I don't dance. The camera's on me when it really should be on them giving their all. This number, they did not have to be slowed down by any Lennies. They were just out there completely killing it.
It's like sports in a weird way. Like you've practiced and practiced, and now it's game day. That's how these dancers felt to me. I don't know. They had that kind of vibe to them where they were a team, they had worked on it, and now it was time to deliver. And Paul and Ryan, as the coaches, Ryan was a player coach. They did an incredible job of working through 9 or 10 dance numbers in a short period of time.
Tell who you are. Everybody
shooting a previs for me is a non-negotiable. This is something that like I need to do as a choreographer.
Ready for my close-up, ready for my glow-up, out from behind the scenes. Can't wait to tell you mine.
The main girl, Hazel May, who is moving through that whole sequence with ease, is AJ, Alan's daughter.
That was really, really fun to be able to see her do that and for her to step into that. So.
Ready for my close-up, ready for my glow-up, out from behind the scenes.
I thought, there's no way, how are they going to pull this off with all these dances? But they really do. It's unbelievable how they brought that whole thing together. I just love it. And you can't help but move. That's one where you got to move. You got to flinch.
It took us a long, long time to get that one right. And then the next 2 or 3 took us long. So I think I don't know, I feel like I had 30 or 45 minutes to get like 3 more of the sections done. And so as you have to do, I'm just like looking at what I'm supposed to give. Like, can I lose anything? Like, so that we can make the day, can I lose any of these sections? And it's going to make everybody sad. It's going to make me sad for that matter. But at the end of the day, that's my responsibility is to look at the story. What do we have to have? And look at production and balance realistically where we are from production and what we can get and what the story absolutely needs. And sometimes you just have to kill your darlings, as we say.
The sheer time it takes to execute a perfect oner, we didn't have. And also with choreography, people are making mistakes all the time. So we didn't want to risk that. So we divided this whole number up into sections. You can look, if you look really closely, you can pinpoint those specific cut points. Like when Bailey jumps off the table and lands in his arms, we spin towards the camera, we cut. When the trays block the camera for a millisecond, we cut. There's moments like that where we found cut points so we could actually have a moment to breathe and regroup.
On day 1, we're all excited. It's day 1. We're doing this thing for years. And 3 hours into day 1, the thing you never want to see when you look down at your phone and your significant other's called you 17 times. And you're like, this is not good. So you step away, you have that conversation. And I go to my partner in crime in this project on the page thus far, but also a really talented director in her own right. Say, Kaylee, I gotta call my wife back. She's called 17 times. Here's the monitor. I don't know when I'll be back, but do the thing.
My perspective of that day was like, you're so excited, like you were saying, everything. And I've never just been a writer on anything. And so I was like, this is great. Like, I just want to sit at monitor and like watch and like make sure everything's going good and like float in and out. And then, somebody ran into where the monitor room was and was like, you need to be on set right this second. I was like, oh my gosh, a writing emergency. And then and so I like grab my laptop. Your tools. I grab my little bag and go to set, and Alan just hands me the monitor and like was like, Brycey called me 17 times. You're up. And I was like, okay, great. Well, I didn't prep or shot list or anything. And everything kind of ran super smoothly for the next, I think, like 10 minutes before we broke for lunch.
I always knew that filming episode 6 was going to be tough because we wrote, like these were words that meant a lot to me and I struggled with. But something just happened, I think really during the rehearsal, where when I heard Max saying these words, they were my words. And it was coming through the screen, and I think as the holder of the story, I felt like I was asking God the questions about what happened to my wife and I a few weeks earlier when you were saying.
And what's really sad to me is that you believe he could come in and do something, but he chooses not to. That day, obviously, as we had already talked about, that day was a bit tense and intense between us, first of all. Then on top of that, we had our moments, and in between each take, it was still kind of a tense atmosphere just because we wanted to stay in that moment as much as we could.
So by the end of the episode, if I don't feel like whatever has happened to Max, whether it be through your performance or through other people telling you stuff, if I don't feel like I understand why at the end of this episode he would nod and take that one step, then I don't buy it, because I felt so connected to what you were saying when we were filming that scene that it felt like substitution in a way. All I can offer is that I made this decision in spite of the questions that I have, and it was the best decision I ever made. And I want for you what I have. That's the only thing that moved me, because we had other versions of that scene and other things we wanted to say, and for good or bad. Like, I'm not saying I made the right decision, but I did make a personal decision, in that that's the only thing that Jeremy could say that for me, I was like, okay, I can resonate with that. Somebody who cares about you saying, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why that happened on day one. I don't know why it happened at all. But in spite of that, and in spite of my own versions of that, Jeremy's saying, I made a decision to trust him anyway. And I know that was a great decision. And I believe, since it was a great decision for me, it'd be a great decision for you. Without knowing for sure, because I sit here now going like, really? Like, there's no other way that this could have happened, where we could have made a good show. And episode 6 would be what it is. I believe wholeheartedly episode 6 and the show, for that matter, because you guys don't know this, but when I went in the trailer, I filmed myself and I dedicated the show to Hazel May. It was the whole thing.
This whole series is for her. Her name was going to be Hazel. Hazel May. Her name is Hazel May.